19 from the SAT number 17, and this is the April QAS test from 2019. Okay, so we have 18 and 19. We notice that these are paired questions here, which means the best way to solve this is to read the question from 18, use whatever it's asking there to help us choose a text from 19, and then basically use the text from 19 to come back and answer 18. So the question from 18 says, based on the passage, which action would most likely reduce political extremism among the citizenry? So what we want to do is we want to go through question 19 through the answer choices, looking for any of them that tell us about reducing political extremism. So let's start with A, that's their positions. So who is they here? Remember, we always want to check our references. They are the people who simply listed their reasons for their positions. So people who just listed their reasons for why they believed X, Y, and Z, they continued to think they understood the policies, and they remained extreme in their passion for their polarization or political extremism. And basically what it says is that people don't understand their ignorance of an issue, and they seek information that's going to support their views without knowing it. So this is what we might call confirmation bias, right? You have an idea, you have an opinion, and so instead of trying to look for information that's going to counteract it, instead what you do is you look for information to support it, even if you don't know that that's what you're doing. And they hang out with people like themselves. So these are people who have extreme or polarized views, and it continues by explaining some of the habits and some of the things that they do. So people who have polarized views, what they do is they process new information in biased ways, right? They have cognitive bias, and they also hang out with people like themselves. So this is basically if you're a Republican, you got strong Republican views, and you just hang out with other Republicans. And you're attracted to those people, but what that does is that reinforces polarization because you're not exposed to contradictory ideas or different ideas. So this is also about polarization or extremism, but again, not about reduction, so I would get rid of C. Then we have D, which is lines 76 through 78, which is right here. But forcing the candidates to provide concrete and elaborate plans might be a start. It gives citizens a starting place. I like this right off the bat because it seems to be implying some sort of solution, right? This might be a start. It gives us a starting place. And if we step back a little bit, basically right before it, it says all of these psychological forces, right, that they talk about for polarization, they increase political extremism, and no simple measure or no simple fix or simple solution will change that. However, forcing candidates to provide concrete and elaborate plans might be a start. So this is basically saying that if you ask political candidates, to flesh out their ideas using concrete examples and making them very elaborate and detailed, if you do that, that might be one of the fixes towards reducing polarization, reducing political extremism, and sort of combating these psychological forces that keep us biased. So this is a really good answer choice. It's the last one that we have, so I think it's strong. So one more time, basically, we see that what this answer choice is saying is that if you want to reduce political extremism, you have to make political candidates sort of express their views in very detailed, very concrete, very specific ways. So let's see if we find an answer choice that will match that. A says that you can reduce political extremism by forming organized groups of people who share their most deeply held convictions. So this would basically be if you brought everyone together into little groups, and each one of those groups, they had strong, deeply held convictions. You put all the Democrats together, all the Republicans together, all the people who favor this policy together, etc. So a couple reasons that this is wrong is, one, the passage pretty much says that this is the opposite, right? He basically says that, or the passage says that if you want to increase political extremism, or one of the things that does increase political extremism is that people seek out other people like themselves. So putting people in groups of like-minded people is not going to reduce political extremism, but exacerbate it. And it doesn't match the text that we have left. It doesn't really match any of the text that we have, so I would get rid of A. B says that if you want to reduce political extremism, you need to require that politicians explain their proposed policies in detail before an election is held. That really does match the text that we chose here, which says that you need to force candidates to provide concrete and elaborate plans. So concrete and elaborate plans matches explaining their proposed policies. So I think this is a great answer choice. Let's keep it. C says that you can reduce political extremism by promoting awareness of charities that provide opportunities to donate money to worthy and underfunded causes. Nothing in the passage about charities, about the benefits of donating to charities if you want to reduce political extremism. Definitely nothing in any of the texts that we looked at that talk about this, so I would get rid of C. Then we have D, which says that you can reduce political extremism by hosting events that encourage people who hold opposing viewpoints to interact with one another. Now, this might seem true, It might even actually be true and something that the author agrees with. Because what it's saying is that if you bring people together who have different views, that you might sort of shake up some of their political extremism. And we know that the author believes the opposite, that if you put people together, that if you put people together who share views, that their views get strengthened. So maybe it makes sense to say that if you put people who have different views together, that they would basically shake their political extremism. However, the problem with this is that there's no text to support this right here. It's too specific a claim, hosting events, and we don't have any strong evidence to support it. So I would get rid of D. It's definitely not as strong as this right here, mentioning the politicians. So then we can choose answer choice B as our correct answer for question 18 and choose answer choice D as our correct answer for question number 19.